Hi there. We're the team that built this really cool new feature that we're about to demo to you today. Now, we know that visualizing pipelines and understanding your build is really important, especially when it comes to dependencies. We know this is a big customer problem, and we've got this new feature to show you, and we're calling it the Build Canvas. So visualizing your dependencies is really important, especially when you have a lot of jobs and a lot of steps. And they're all related to each other, but you don't know exactly what, and you don't really know why some of your steps are not running. But luckily, we know that this is a big problem. Lots of people have it. And this new feature, the Build Canvas, makes this really simple. Now, fortunately, we have been exploring this new visualization approach for the last while as we've been building the template gallery. I don't know if you've seen that. But look, this has been really great to explore dependencies, as well as early customer feedback has been really positive. So we're really excited to bring it to you.
So yeah, this is the new build canvas, and straight away you can see how the layout and the visualization of your build make it incredibly easy to understand the overall state of your build, and what is building and what is not building, and just how it's going in general. So even when it's not, whether it's a pipeline that you wrote or a pipeline you didn't write, it should help you grasp what is happening. So if your build's running, we've got a tool called follow mode. So when you click on that, it will drag your screen to whatever the currently active thing in the build is. And this is a great way just to follow along and keep track of what's happening. And if there's errors, it'll be immediately obvious. In addition to that, if you really feel like it, we've got a music mode that you can turn on to spice up the build a little bit if you want. And yeah, and then from there you can stop it, or you can press the hand tool to resume and manually navigate.
Okay, so you can see quite a few different step types on the build canvas. We've spent quite a bit of time just refining this so to make the view as intuitive as possible. So you can see here we've got groups which contain a collection of steps, and within those we've also got parallel steps, matrix steps, and command steps. So here we've got a parallel step. You can see that you've got each of it's been parallelized to run to have 8 different parallel executions. So each of those little jobs are represented by those tiles there, where each is clickable and you can jump directly to the job that executed. If you hover over one of the commands, you can see that we've got the command that executed, and then some helpful information, the timing, the state of the execution, and also a link to jump to the latest job for that step. And then we've also similarly got our matrix command steps, which are similar to the parallel steps, which are kind of broken out into multiple executions. And if this build were running, you'd be able to see those updating in real time. We've also got block steps or input steps that you may be familiar with, where you can jump straight into the unblock dialog and get your build running. What else have we got here? Wait steps are represented by some arrows, which this build doesn't have, and we've also got trigger steps, which are the ones for triggering another build in a different pipeline. And if you hover over the root node or the very start node, you can find some helpful information about the commit and the branch and what triggered this build. Now, some builds may have conditional steps that only run on certain branches, such as the main branch. You can toggle some of that if you were interested when you're on a feature branch, if you wanted to see the full dependency graph, by clicking on this little arrow, this little eyeball down the bottom. And you can see that it says show hidden steps. When we click that, a few extra steps show up. In this case, the release step is over here, which will only execute on the main branch. But that's not relevant for a feature branch, so that's hidden away in this instance. You'll notice there's also a little button there next to the eyeball, which is go to failure. Now we know that when you come into a build, jumping in and viewing the first step that failed is the most important thing for most developers. So we've got a command here, which is also accessible by a hotkey, F. So if we click that, we'll zoom straight into the failure on a graph. Now, some graphs can get quite large, so this is quite helpful for jumping straight in and honing in on exactly what went wrong. And if you want to cycle through those errors, you can just keep pressing the button or keep pressing F and it'll jump you around. Path highlighting is also something that we've spent a bit of time on. As a graph gets more and more complex, or a build, I should say, gets more and more complex, it can be difficult to understand how all of your dependencies are related to one another. So if you click on any of the steps, we sort of highlight this path and de-emphasize all the other steps that aren't part of that critical path. If you hold down Command and click, you can select multiple paths or multiple steps, which can be helpful if you're trying to understand exactly how these steps are related to one another.
So thanks, Chris. Look, this is incredibly simple, especially when you compare it to the existing build page we have for customers. So we really look forward to you all trying it out, run your hardest builds, see how it looks. It's available in this little tab right here. And if you do have feedback or questions or comments, do email them through to support@buildkite.com. Really keen to hear what you think.